How to make 100,000 a year from using Rightmove. As I've developed my property journey over the last decade, I've found some weird, wonderful, and I think pretty amazing ways of finding direct-to-vendor deals, including Facebook ads, Gumtree ads, YouTube ads, you name it, and even the YouTube channel. But there's no getting around Rightmove as the #1 place to be. It's got over 85% of the properties sold through there on an annual basis. At any one point, there are 1 million properties for sale on Rightmove. I mean, how many of those do you need to hit your 6-figure year? So I've done a couple of videos on this in the past with some tips and tricks, but it's been a while. I think the last one was back in Jan. So I want to do an updated one to make sure you're getting the best value possible. So Rightmove back in, I think it was 2013, realized that their user database was starting to shift a lot more. So back in 2010 maybe, a lot of people were going on there once, twice, every 5 years because they're buying their property, keeping their property, and they're never really going on there. But the private rental sector has been picking up more and more and more. So people like you and me frequent it almost on definitely a weekly, if not daily basis, checking the new properties that's gone on. So they recognized this and made it an investor-only portal section. And what this meant is that we can go on, we can see data trends in the area, the rental analysis in the area, and of course, much more effective search terms like refurbishment, probate, repossession, and so much more that allows us to get access in the right area. So the first thing you need to be doing is making sure you are setting up a bespoke newsletter. Not a lot of people know this on Rightmove, but you can actually set up your bespoke criteria. So you can attach multiple, if you go into the advanced section for this, you can attach multiple postcodes in there. You have to set up an account, okay? It can't just be you have to register for an account here. It's completely free, of course. Get your areas, then you can put your criteria. So for me, in my areas, I do West and South Yorkshire. I exclude a lot of the more dodgy areas or lower class areas, if you like, as bad as that sounds, but it's just not where I want to invest. I do 2 to 4 bed freehold houses, and I do a search between anything between 80 and 150,000. 80 because I know there's going to be great refurbishment opportunities, or it's an auction and bidding up from there, and 150 is probably up the upper end of where I want to be, but I'm able to negotiate it down on behalf of my clients, and that's what I do as a business, is build portfolios for investors. So once you've got this search term, and you can be as specific as you want, okay? So do you want gardens? How many bedrooms do you want? What price range? Is it only houses you want? Is it only detached, semi-detached? Be as specific as possible. I'd probably spend a good hour on this, making sure it's set up as much as possible and then widening the area. What this will mean is pretty much every single day, I will get an email update of all of the new properties that meet my criteria and any that have gone back on the market, which is really powerful, by the way, because you're not wanting to sieve through 50, 60, 70, 80 properties every single day. If I get a day where there's only one, amazing. I'd rather get an email through with between 3 and 10 properties on a daily basis that I know I'm going to put an offer in on. There's usually a 50-50 mix on here. 50% of people watching this will be new to the channel, and hopefully you're going to get a lot of value. If you do, make sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell so you're updated with new videos. And 50% of you are return customers, and a lot of people have been reaching out about my programs. I won't say a load around it, but if you're interested in paid for education and actually learning all of this stuff in a deep dive way, put education in the comments. We'll send you a link and we'll have a one-to-one strategy call to make sure you're the right fit. So let's jump into how to actually find deals on Rightmove. And I'm going to make an assumption here that if you're watching this, you've got your strategy and location nailed down. So let's jump into the laptop and show you how to actually find these deals. So we're going to open 2 Rightmove tabs here, one on house prices sold, which is just over here, and one on to buy. Then we're going to open a tab with Google Maps on it. And this is going to be obvious why later, but it's a good visual opportunity where you don't have to go into the area all the time to actually actually understand an area, all right? Then we're going to open a tab with a location analyzer on. My preferred one is property data. It's absolutely incredible. I'll put a link of that in the description if you want to open that up now. Register an account. It's completely free for 2 weeks, but you'll be able to go along with me now. Remember, if you go to an estate agent, you go, I want to buy anything that makes money. It's like you're not going to get sent anything, or more importantly, you get sent everything like an email list. You need to be as specific as possible. That means you'll get sent a lot less, but it will actually make sense for you to offer on it. So narrow it down, inch wide, mile deep. So you want to start by searching your desired postcode only, okay? So for me, it might be in Leeds, LS4. Then you're going to narrow it down, and it's going to be property type, and then minimum and maximum price. And then once we're searching this, we're going to get our list there, and we want to filter it down. So we want to really eliminate. And I always think, how do you get the best properties? Be more specific about what you don't want to see. So we're going to go to the don't show, and then we're going to go, for example, I don't want to see new homes, and a few more different things that we can go through. So then we're going to go for the properties that we're going to look out for. This is going to depend largely on your strategy, but it's going to be ones that have been on the market for a while. Just as an example, you can list it by date on this, and especially if I'm listing by oldest, I might mark it as sold subject to contract. The reason for that is, as you can see, there'll be properties on here and on your search where they've been on for a year, and you're thinking, wow, they must be open to an opportunity. I can near guarantee that is not actually for sale, and it's actually illegal now, by the way, but a lot of estate agents will deliberately leave those on for the sole purpose of getting people like you to call, so they're getting more potential buyers in. It's quite sneaky, but they will do it. The reason I like keeping the list on for sold subject to contract, it means that somebody's agreed a price, but if it's been going for 5-6 months, that vendor and estate agent must be getting pissed right now, and the investor or buyer might be messing them around, and a quick phone call to the estate agent, just say, hey, I know this one's sold subject to contract, but would you just be able to check the file for me and see where they're at? Because I just wanted to say I can come in and buy it cash or buy it mortgage, but get it done really quickly if for whatever reason the buyer is messing you around. And I've got some great deals that way, and it's not about taking it off of somebody, but if they've been messing around and dragging it out, pretending they've got money, pretending they're doing things, which a lot of buyers do, you want to be in there. And just so you know the statistic, by the way, 1 in 3 properties fall out of the legal process when a property is online with estate agents. That means if there's 9 properties there, 3 of them will be coming on the market, and you want them thinking of your name. So again, another situation might be, you know, ones that need to add some value, so you can see some of the rougher properties, ones where maybe it's a big 2-bed but the layout allows for it to be a 3-bed. You can add value that way. Maybe it's got a big garden, so you can do an extension, or maybe even a development if there's enough land to the side. Maybe you can go into the loft, etc. And so these are multitude of ways that you can get access to it. The other thing that I need is especially with property data, as you can see here, I can see the history of property. So I can see if the property's been lowered in price, which is a good indication. I can even see if something's gone up in price and the history of that. And that's an amazing plugin that property data has. So as I said, the link for that's in the description. If you're not using that as you're following around, make sure to download that now, and it's free for the first 2 weeks. So it's all right looking at these opportunities, but you want to make sure that you also understand the market and have a solid experience of the area. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to look at the sold section, all right? So you can open this into another tab, look at similar properties, and I'd probably go over the last couple of years. So going back 10 years, it gives you a good idea of the market, but probably not the overall valuation. Fairly obviously, most properties were worth less 10 years ago compared to what they are now. It's just good to have an overview. When you're doing analysis, I'd say up to 2 years, and usually within a quarter of a mile. Don't go much beyond that, all right? So, and also you need to look at the style of property. Just a quick tip there. Just because yours is a 3-bed and another one's a 3-bed, in some areas that could be hundreds of thousands of pounds of difference in price. So just make sure they're as similar and like for like as possible. So other things to look at is Google Maps, which you can sort of get the avatar, drop it down, do a bit of street check, etc. And you could do a bit of further analysis by actually visually seeing the house number of the property. So you can actually do some more checks on that. If you've got property data, it will give you so much history. But if for whatever reason you're not downloading it for free for the first 2 weeks and long term you don't want to pay for it, you can look at street check. The information's nowhere near as good, but it is free, and you can see images on there and the like. So the final thing is you also want to look at the local area. So again, you can visually do this with the avatar walking around on Google Maps, but also using property data right now, you will be able to see transport links, crime in the area, tenure of property, amenity, schools, Ofsted reports, and you can use Street Check for a lot of that as well. So this is going to bring the right opportunities for you, and then I'm not going to go through it in this video. You need to get on the phone with speed, okay? Great deals do not stand around. You need to take action on this. So just some final top tips on this. You can search for properties and view them in list or map view. You can prioritize your search using keywords such as garden, refurbishment, repossession. So if you're looking for land, for example, you can put that in. You can save search criteria, which is great for two things. Number one, you can get a bespoke mail shot sent out to your newsletter, sent out to you on a daily basis. Or if you're proactively going on, you don't have to do a new search every time. You can go to your saved searches. And finally, you can edit your search location to be personalized just for you. So as I mentioned, some of you will want to get to that point where you're getting paid for education. And if you are at that stage, put education in the comments. We'll have a one-to-one consultation and strategy call completely free just to make sure you're right to take on as a client. And if you're new to the channel and you're just at that stage where you want as much free content as possible, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We put out videos every single week tailored to what problems you're going through. So make sure you let me know what you think in the comments. Is there anything I've missed? Is there any videos that you want me to make specifically for you? Ultimately, the channel is for you in the first place. Make sure to hit the like button. It really does help the algorithm. So make sure to destroy it on the way to your next video.